Hi guys, I'm Flavio Pratico from PolyShaper. If you're watching this video, it means I'm probably dead. No, I'm kidding. If you're watching this video, it means you probably have interest in one of our machines, styrofoam cutting machines, like this baby downstairs. In this video, I'm gonna show you how to use our machines, and particularly I'm gonna show you how to use Inkscape, the graphical software we suggest. It's free, of course, and nothing else. Let's see. Once you open Inkscape, this is the main user interface you are going to interact. First of all, we are going to show you how to use the objects that are namely the rectangles, the circle, star or polygons, and very important, the text. James. Alright, why I call these objects? The object in Inkscape is an element that has its own properties. For example, for a rectangle, if we double click on it, we have the properties of make round the corner and the common properties of dimension, width and height. Instead, double click on the circle and we have of course the dimension on the x and y axis, so we can change just one of them, and we can also modify where start the angle to start and end the circle, for example like this, having a Pac-Man. Regarding the starts, once again, double click on the star, we can switch between polygons and star. Alright? We can define the number of the corners. Now, by default, there are 5 corners. We can modify this by adding more corners. We can modify the ratio between the corners. Let's see. As you can see. And of course we can add some rounded effect on the corner. Here it is. Okay, let's go on the last object, that's the James text. The text of course has the main properties in double click. Here, up here, we have the properties of the objects, and the main properties that you want to change is the font, or you can change if you have normal or bold, italic kind of text. We can change more or less everything we change in a text editor. I like Bulletto Killa. It is the font preferred font in the Styrofoam community. And once we have here, we can, once we select an object or a path, we can modify the dimension of the object by click and keeping click like this. Okay? If you want to make this variation of dimensions on proportion, you can click on the padlock here, and now as you can see I can just modify the dimension in proportion. Alright, otherwise I can modify just one dimension on the vertical axis and horizontal axis here. If I click one more on this object, I can rotate it, or I can make this deformation. Pretty cool. Alright, right now we just saw all the objects that are inside Inkscape. Regarding the styrofoam cutting, we have to transform this object into path. Paths are inside a graphical vector software are a mathematical equation, Bezier equation, and the properties, once you modify and transform the object in a path, the properties of the object are totally freeze. So, for example, I want to select everything. To select everything in your working area, you can make a square selection, or otherwise you can press the shift button on your keyboard and click on every element. Okay, you can go now on the path menu and click on object to path. It seems nothing changed, but now if we do double click on the Pac-Man, we don't have anymore the properties of the circle, of the object circle appear, but we can just modify the shape of the path by moving the nodes through its pointer. Okay, let's see now some common stuff that you can do with path. All the operation that we can do on the path are in the path menu up here, and then you can do union, difference, and many other interaction, exclusion, division, and many other of that. I can show you by changing the color of one of them, alright, the circle. I can move the circle on the rectangle, select both of them, going to Path, Union. And as you can see, we have a union of the path. Otherwise, I can do the same by making the differences. So let's go back. Okay, select both the circle and the rectangle, object, path, differences, and I have now the difference. Or otherwise, select both and path, intersection, and at the same time I have the intersection between the two paths. Another important tool that we want to show you is the offset tool. Usually on Inkscape you have to use the paint bucket here, adding a positive dimension here if you want to do a positive offset, or a negative one if you want to go inside the path. So for example, I choose 50 millimeters and here. Alright, it seems something strange happens, but if you select this path just generated and click on the layer and move down, alright, you can see what it's just happened. We create an offset around the main intersection, the main path we did before. Alright, let's make something interesting and select everything, alright, and delete it, and let's make a simple text, a name, James, like before, James. Alright, I want to show you something interesting. If you go on the view menu and display mode, outline, transform this object into a path by keeping selected, going to path menu and object to path. As you can see here, we have some intersections between the letters. So first of all, we have to do When we work with the text, my advice is to go in first into Object and click on Ungroup. Oh, perfect. Right now, we have to make probably a union between these letters, so we can select everyone, path, union. And now my aim is to create a base where the name James is. So I'm going to use again the paint bucket and click on the letter J and on the other text. Let's use the common pointer, and as you can see here we have a very bad path, but we right now like that we can delete it. So for first select this and go into path and break apart, and now we can select just this one and delete. Now select the offset of the J and the offset of the other part of the name, both selected, path, union. And here we are with a wonderful text, James. Alright, right now I want to show you the last tool, very important tool to make more or less everything you have in your mind, every project you have in your mind. So let's import a particular peculiar image. File, import. I choose this one. Okay, this is the shape of a spider. As you can see right now we are in the view mode, display mode, outline. Let's go back in a normal view display mode. Alright, and we can't see the text James, so we select it and move the layer downstairs, and we have an image of a spider. Okay, this is a raster image. This is made by pixels, so we have first of all to trace this raster image. This image is made by pixels. So let's select it, go to the menu path and trace bitmap. Without touching anything else, just click on apply. And as you can see, we trace it very simply. Let's go back to display mode, view, display mode, outline. We can delete the old image and keep this one. As you can see, I didn't choose a random image. I choose a silhouette, a shape, a perfect image made by white and black pixels. This is a simple image to be traced. And you have just to go on Google, okay, and search for example, spider silhouette. And as you can see, you go image, sorry for the language browser in Italian. And as you can see, you find, searching for something like spider and silhouette as a keyword, you can find all the black and white image that are really simple to be traced. So let's go back on Inkscape and let's put this spider somewhere near James, like this, and make the union. Path, union. Probably it's best to have two parts with an intersection, and select this and this, and path, union. No, my bad. Path union. The project is almost done. We have just to set the final dimension we want. For example, here I want 300 millimeters. My bad. Select everything. And once again, 300 millimeters, and move under the top left corner of the working area. I'm going to path combine to keep all together and go to File, Save As, James, Spider, Save. Now I can open Shaco, the software to control our machine. I have one machine attached to my computer. I can set the language of Shaco down here. Okay, so I switch to English. And now I can import the project. File, open SVG. James. It appears a bit strange. I can go to the view menu and switch to skeleton and see if the project is like when I draw it. And now File, Save and Cut. I give a name, James, Save and Cut. Yes, I want to cut it right now. Go to Cut, open File, James, and here it is. Now I have to control the machine to move the hot wire near the top left corner of the styrofoam panel I want to use. And here I am. I can set the temperature, almost 750 and 55%, and just start. Now let's go back to the reality. And this is the final result. Alright, if I want to finish it, I can remove each letter and paint them, and after reassemble the final project like this. And for this Dyna tutorial, it's all. If you have questions, doubt, you can leave a comment down. Bye.